Coming up on this stormy edition of ATV News.
A tree fell down in the neighbor's yard right here, and we're here to clean it up in the wind.
You know what's breaking loose. We'll show you where.
They're not with their mothers.
We'll show you what this person in a bear costume was protesting.
I started feeling really achy in my back and my neck.
The CDC and FDA are recommending pausing the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We'll show you how USU students who just got it are holding up.
Which sports are ending and which sports are beginning. I'll show you.
I'll tell you when this nastiness will clear out and when it might come back in weather.
All that and more, this is ATV News. Chainsaws cut through fallen trees this morning, just a part of the cleanup from this windstorm. Trees weren't alone as the wind caused power outages, knocked over trash cans, and knocked over mailboxes. Welcome to this edition of ATV News. I'm Jonathan May.
And I'm Josh Davis. A windstorm hit Cache Valley this morning. Reporter Will Boltez joins us live from the quad to show us the weather right now.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to need my big coat again until winter, but here we are. The high winds started last night and it was up to about 60 miles an hour, and then the snow came in towards the nighttime and we got what we got. But as you can see now, this was plowed earlier, but most of the snow has already been melted. It's still pretty cold right now though, and we're getting gusts about 10 miles an hour. Here's what it was like this morning though. Police closed Logan Canyon this morning after the wind and snow caused some slide-offs. And here are some students weathering the storm while waiting for the bus, but the campus wasn't much better either. We had blizzard-like conditions with winds around 40 miles an hour. You'll hear more about this in weather. That's all for now. I'm William Boltez reporting live from the quad for ATV News.
Thanks, Will.
Cache Valley residents might still be looking out for icy roads after today's storm. Salting the road and plowing snow is what was happening on Aspen Drive this morning. The heavy winds and icy roads slowed vehicles down, and after car slide-offs, police showed up and shut down the street to through traffic.
Some residential neighborhoods are still facing cleanup after today's storm took its toll on their front yards. Tree after tree was going through the chipper this morning on Foothill Drive. City workers cleaned up fallen trees in the wind and snow. They say they had a busy day.
It's been pretty crazy. We've picked up a couple of trees over here in Logan and also in Hiram. So just doing as much cleanup as we can. Trying to trim them down also so that the wind doesn't knock them down.
The storm looks like it's slowing down, but workers are still chipping away.
Sam Walker is here to give us more information about the windstorm. Sam?
Thanks, John. This is the radar showing us that wind. Over here we have the northern half of Utah, and on this side we've got the southern half of Utah. And as you can see, this gray and green is representing that precipitation, cloud accumulation, and the wind that are all coming right off the Wasatch Front and dropping on most of the cities here in Utah. Now, the National Weather Service says Cache Valley had about 1 to 3 inches of snow this morning. As Will just told you, most of that has melted away. And the windstorm this morning averaged gusts from 30 to 40 miles per hour here in the valley. Now, the high wind warning from the National Weather Service was in effect from 6 p.m. last night to noon today. And those forecasts are saying that the worst is behind us, but there could be more coming, so don't go anywhere because I'll have all the updates and the full forecast coming up in weather. But for now, back to John and Josh at the desk.
Thanks, Sam. The CDC and FDA paused the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine after some of the people who had it reported getting blood clots. Sarah Murphy joins us live from the newsroom to tell us what all that means.
Thanks, Sean. USU held a clinic on Friday vaccinating more than 1,000 students and faculty with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Now, I met with a few of these students who said that afterwards they felt pretty lousy.
Pain. It actually hurt a lot more than I thought that it was going to.
For some students, these feelings lasted longer than just the needle in their arm.
I got the shivers, I was really cold, and then my stomach didn't feel super good.
It felt like having COVID all over again.
For students like Utah State sophomore Madison McGurran, because of the side effects, they're still in bed.
I've just been taking some Advil and I was shivering a lot. And I started feeling really achy in my back and my neck.
The CDC says that chills, fever, and nausea are all normal side effects of Johnson & Johnson vaccine. They also report that the side effects are more common in adults under the age of 60. Some students say that despite this statistic, they're still glad that they got it.
Even though like Friday was a little rough, like Saturday I was still glad that I got the vaccine, because now it's like I don't have to really worry about the virus anymore. I can trust the vaccine and know that like I'll be protected.
I'm way glad that I got it. I feel like it was better to suffer for 24 hours than get COVID again for 2 weeks and suffer that way. I think in the long run it helps everybody to get the vaccine, so I'm glad that I got it, but it really was kind of sucky.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so as far as the people that you just saw who received the vaccine, they say that now they're feeling fine. As far as the vaccine goes, Johnson & Johnson experts say that they administered a total of 6.8 million vaccine doses, and out of that 6.8 million, 6 people received blood clots. So let's put that in perspective a little bit. On the screen here, you see 6 little black squares that are highlighted. These squares are pixels. Now we're going to slowly zoom out here until you get the full image, and this entire image is made up of almost 6.8 million pixels. Now, this is about the closest visual aid we can get to represent this Johnson & Johnson vaccine statistic, but honestly, the numbers are too big, so we can't even really show you. But CDC and FDA health experts say that they're pausing the distribution of these vaccines mainly out of abundance of caution. Reporting live from the newsroom, Sarah Murphy, ATV News. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Sarah.
And now for an update on the number of coronavirus cases in Utah. There have been over 2,000 new cases in Utah since last week, with almost 16,000 active cases and over 390,000 total cases. In Cache County, there are 73 new cases from last week, with 206 active cases. The total number of cases in Cache County is over 15,000. There are 6 new cases at USU since last week and 28 active cases. There have been over 3,000 total cases.
The new Utah State University Student Association's Academic Senate and Executive Council say they're working harder today to represent all Utah State students. At their first meeting, these newly elected student body officers talked about getting less represented students onto college councils.
We're bringing on a lot of freshmen. We're bringing on a lot of graduate students and a lot of statewide campus students as well. And that's going to make this whole experience of being part of a college council so much more enjoyable, and I think we're really going to be able to fully represent the student body.
The meetings are every Monday and Tuesday at 4 p.m. and are open to all students.
The American West Heritage Center held the annual Baby Animal Days, and they had bear cubs, but not everyone was excited for it. These protesters, including a person in a bear costume, showed up to protest the treatment of bear cubs, who are the centerpiece of the event.
Baby bears are torn away from their mothers before they even open their eyes, and then they're carted all around the country so that tourists and people can pay money for selfies.
One counter-protester showed up with a sign saying, "These bears are getting better treatment than all Biden's caged immigrants." Jonathan, would you put on a bear costume for a protest?
Not for a protest, but I have gone as a bear for Halloween. It was actually Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
Yeah.
How recent was this?
Last year.
There you go. And coming up,
a lasting impact past fall 2020.
Can USU beat the national odds during the pandemic? Sam Walker will give you the 7-day forecast during weather. The current temperature is 46 degrees.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. drive responsibly.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Survival, have a good time. Planting seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic. To change the writing on the wall. Writing on the wall. One book can make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first little thing that helps to change a life.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
I was worried that flag might fly right off the pole this morning with winds reaching gusts from that windstorm reaching up to 60 miles an hour. The storm blew around trash, bent trees, and with some of those bigger gusts like we saw earlier, they broke more than just little branches. Welcome to this edition of ATV Weather. I am Sam Walker. Now, let's look into why we're experiencing that windy weather. Now, the main reason is right behind me. It's this giant cold front that's moving across the United States right now. Now, the front half of it is right here going down the side of the East Coast, heading towards Florida. Basically, what it's doing is it's just a bunch of cold, dry air, and it's pushing east, and it's meeting up with that warm, more humid air from the ocean, and together they're combining to make precipitation in that cloud cover. And that's what all this green and gray represents right here next to me. And basically, they're getting a lot of what we got about a week and a half ago. It's more rain than snow, but still, they are getting that precipitation and that colder weather. Now, if we move to the other half of this, where we are here in Utah, we're on the tail end of this cold front. So it's a similar thing going on, hot and cold air mixing together to make some precipitation, but it's mixing a little differently since the cold front is moving this way. So the hot air is trailing, and it's trying to go over the top just like it does over here, but it can't because there's cold air on this side. So what it has to do is it has to go back under, and then when it does that, it doesn't get as much precipitation, but we still got some today. And it can create those higher chances for stronger winds. Now, that paired with us being right along the Wasatch Front is almost, some would say, the perfect storm. Now, if we take a look here at Utah, right along the Wasatch Front, just what I was talking about, we've got all this precipitation and cloud cover all combining right along that. Now it's just that hot air and cold air mixing together, and we saw those conditions today, but we might be able to expect some of that in the next few days before we get that sun again. If we look to the 7-day forecast just for 1 second, here we go. So today we had that 60% chance of snow and rain. Obviously they got that one a little right because we did have snow for the most of the morning. But the second half of the day cleared up a lot. Now that's a lot of what they're predicting with these first 3%. So tomorrow we can expect a 50% chance for snow in the morning until noon, and then the second half of the day it's going to warm up and we have a higher likelihood of getting some rain. And then on Friday there's also still that chance, since we're still in the tail end of this cold front, to get some precipitation. We can expect cloud cover, but if there's any precipitation, it's just going to be some rain. And then when we get to the other half of the week, the sun comes back out again. I love to see it. I know all you viewers love to see it. Hopefully you do, because we're going to have it the rest of the week, and then we're going to have a little bit of cloud cover on Tuesday again, but it's still going to be in those higher temperatures like you can see. Now, you're all caught up in weather. I hope you had a great time. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Sam. Data from the National Clearinghouse Research Center shows a steady decline in college enrollment since 2016. But how does USU hold up against the nation? The annual enrollment report from Utah State shows enrollment fell less than 1% from 2019 and 2020 in both graduate and undergraduate degrees.
Our numbers were still online or on par with what we were hoping for the fall 2020. The biggest thing that we were, or one of the big things that we were trying to pay attention to, was how I was going to have a lasting impact past fall 2020, maybe even in the spring 2021.
The report also shows enrollment was up for the majority of the university's population, but minority groups like Pacific Islanders and undocumented residents had the largest decrease.
Who took the crown at Miss USU? The pageant included women from every college, as well as involvement, Greek life, and diversity. Highlights included lots of handshakes, new ideas for campus, and plenty of dancing. Miss Involvement Clara Alder took the tiara.
I decided to do Miss USU because I really wanted to meet some new people, and the girls were absolutely amazing. Like backstage we were singing all of the songs, dancing together, and so the experience was really amazing because of the people that I got to spend it with.
Carrie Hughes was runner-up, Katie Varga was second runner-up, Annie Romano was Miss Congeniality, and Alexis Gordon won People's Choice.
Miss USU is just one part of this week's Aggie Block Party. Student events plans to have high-stakes bingo tonight and a food truck fair and pop-up concerts tomorrow. Friday is the Snacktivity end-of-the-year bash concert and True Aggie Night. Saturday is the ARC Triathlon and movies on the quad. The week is a collaboration between 3 different organizations.
The Student Events Office is working with Student Alumni Association and Student Media to create a big week of events. We settled on the name Aggie Block Party, which encompasses A Week, Logan City Limits, and End of Year Bash.
I'm super excited. We haven't had a lot of concerts like this before, or like this year because of COVID and stuff, so finally being able to get something on campus for students to go to is great.
The concert will take place in the field house and tickets are given in pods, so every ticket reserved you reserve 6 spots to attend. You can find the link for tickets on our Facebook page.
COVID is still affecting the community, and with people waiting in line for hours for diapers and baby supplies. The line was down the street at Little Lambs Foundation, which provides diapers, baby supplies, and comfort kits for kids.
No, we always come every month, because this has been helped our family for a long time, with our kids and stuff, the diapers.
For the diapers and wipes is help us in this moment, the COVID.
Little Lambs is open Tuesday and Wednesday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Thursday 4 to 7 p.m.
Cafes across campus are closed, but will they return? The Sky Room, Luke's Cafe, Shaw's Place, Steeped, and the Nook all closed because of a drop in business this past year. 4 of the 5 are expected to reopen, but...
The Nook will definitely close. This Sky Room where we are now may or may not, we're still trying to decide. That decision is actually at a very high level right now being made. But other than that, everything else will be open.
Dining services also plan to specialize the menus at their locations next fall. Do you have any go-to foods here on campus, Josh?
I love the Turkey Club here at Luke's Cafe, but it's been closed, so I have to look at other places on campus.
Well, when will it be open again?
I think next fall they plan to reopen the other 4.
Oh, thank goodness. I miss them.
And coming up. In sports, Leah Krishoni shows us how the women's soccer team ended their season and how another sport starts theirs.
She's just really smart.
She published this book in 3rd grade, but we'll show you how old she was when she wrote it.
Body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
The women's soccer team played their last 2 games this weekend, but did they finish strong? Welcome to this edition of ATV Sports. I'm Leah Krishoni. Ashley Cardozo scored both goals that led the women's soccer team to win against Colorado State on Friday, 2-1. Marley Niederhauser scored the second goal that led the Aggies to win their game against Wyoming 3-0. The women's tennis team put up a good fight against San Jose State but lost 4-3. The Aggies will play their final 2 matches of the season next weekend in Fresno, California. Felipe Acosta and Javier Ruiz took a 7-6 victory in men's doubles over Nevada. The men's tennis team won overall 4-0. The track and field team competed on Friday and Saturday at the Aggie Invitational this weekend and racked up a total of 19 first-place finishes between the 2 days. The women's 4x100 meter relay captured first place with a time of 46:52. And Clark Brown made his Aggie debut by winning the 100 meters with a time of 10:68. The track and field team will be competing in the Pocatello, Idaho Invitational on Friday and the Norman, Oklahoma Invitational on Saturday. The softball team played 2 games against the University of Nevada, Las Vegas over the weekend, losing 6-2 on Saturday and 17-0 on Sunday. Colton Cordingley of the men's golf team fired a 3 under 141 and is tied for 7th after the first 2 rounds of the UC Santa Barbara Invitational on Monday. And now as a team, the Aggies are in 4th place at 2 over 578, the average of all the pars. The USU football team began practice for the 2021 fall season, and the team has 1 more practice tomorrow before playing in their annual blue versus white spring game on Saturday, April 17th at 2 p.m. at Maverick Stadium. New men's basketball coach Ryan Odom has been on the job for a little over a week. In an interview this week, Robinson Miles asked him what made him want to come to Utah State.
One of the reasons that I was drawn here is the tradition. Tradition of coaches, all right? Obviously, most recently with Coach Smith. You can keep on going backwards. There's a ton of great coaches. Obviously, Coach Morrill, historic coach here at Utah State. The players, a ton of great players over the years, that, have meant so much to this university in terms of building the tradition. And I'm just excited to be the head coach here, to hopefully build upon the foundation that's come before. And, I really believe that, it's a sleeping giant here, not a sleeping giant, it's an opportunity and a responsibility, that I'm excited about.
Robinson also asked about Coach Odom's coaching philosophy, recruiting, and what he likes to do off the court. To watch the full interview, visit our Facebook page. You are all caught up on sports. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Leah. What were you doing as a 3rd grader? One local 3rd grader just published her own book.
That would have been a good one to be in the book. We didn't put that one in.
The book started as a journal about the days spent learning from her grandmother when Britta was a preschooler. Now Britta is in the 3rd grade, and with the help of her grandma, she got her book published in the original copy of Grandma Preschool. Britta drew the pictures, and her grandmother wrote the words. Britta couldn't spell after getting new illustrations and shortening the book down to 36 pages. Britta and her grandmother had their published book.
I loved it, and I think I kind of want to move on and do more books.
Britta says she's excited to keep writing books and hopes she can continue with this success.
She's in the 3rd grade?
Yeah, when I was in the 3rd grade, I was only building Legos, so she's way more successful than me.
I'll tell you what, I think I was scared of reading at that point. But anyway, thank you guys for watching and joining us on this edition of ATV News.
You can catch our previous editions on our Facebook page.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
In Utah, 1 in 8 women and 1 in 50 men will be raped. Also in Utah, 1 in 3 women will experience sexual violence. Of the completed and attempted rapes against college women, less than 5% will actually be reported. Sexual assault should not be a part of the college experience. Always get consent.
Consent for sexual activity is enthusiastic.
Consent is sober.
Consent is non-coerced.
Consent is verbal.
Consent is mutual.
If you or someone you know has experienced sexual assault, report it at reportingsa.usu.edu.